guys, so I just got my package for my Virtual Boy cardboard model headset. I decided to get this version because the plastic version that replicates the original Virtual Boy is way too expensive. I think this is much more reasonable, still kind of overpriced because it's literally cardboard, but at the very least it has another use, which I'll get into later in the video. But I got this just in time, since I feel like the app is probably going to drop within the next 24-ish hours, I would say. It might even drop tonight. Because sometimes, like, NSO stuff, like, drops, like, the day before it's actually announced for. Because they usually, like, put the release date for, like, Japan on there. But who knows? This could be a special case. It could release at a slightly different time than we're used to. But let's go ahead and open this up. Okay, so it has like the Switch Online thing here. A Virtual Boy cardboard model for Nintendo Switch 2 and Nintendo Switch. Kind of interesting how they say Nintendo Switch 2 before Nintendo Switch. I think they're kind of like emphasizing that the Switch 2 is like kind of their main console now. But let's take it out of here. And I'll set this down. Okay, so let's go ahead and open this up. Okay, it also shows on the back here, so it's like usage instructions. So there's like a little flap that you could change when either using this for the Switch 2 or the Switch 1, which makes sense. But let's go ahead and open this up. Okay, so we got like our little like usage manual, and it's actually already pre-constructed. So it's not like the Labo VR headset where you have to put it together. It's actually like already kind of assembled, which is pretty interesting. I assume they didn't want to create software or like some kind of instruction booklet about how to put it together. I feel like that probably to save costs and maybe make it a little more convenient for people who just want to play like Virtual Boy games and things. It's packaged pretty securely here, which kind of makes sense. Okay, so yeah, it has like a little thing here, not to put the lens in direct sunlight. But let's peel this off. And it's very similar to the Labo headset, but it can actually fit the Switch 2, which is nice. I like the little Virtual Boy thing here, and like the little thing where you could change in between like the Switch 1 and Switch 2. And I also like how it replicates the top of the Virtual Boy headset. So this is pretty cute. It feels like the cardboard is like slightly higher quality than the Labo cardboard. It actually has like some kind of finishing on the top of it. It's like, I don't know how to describe it exactly. It's more like a box, kind of like I'm thinking like maybe a box like that a product would come in that you would actually find on like store shelves or something. Actually, yeah, I think the best example is like something like this, like the Nintendo Switch 2 camera. It's like the same kind of like outer layer on the cardboard, so it feels a little more sturdy. So it definitely feels like it's more durable than something like the Labo headset. And it's also like constructed pretty well too. So yeah, I'm actually kind of surprised like how sturdy this feels, because the Labo headset felt a little flimsy. And of course, it still is cardboard, so it's like not the sturdiest thing in the world, but it's still like pretty solid, I would say. But let's get my Nintendo Switch 2 here. I assume it's like by default I can just slip the Switch 2 in here. Okay, yeah, I think it's like... So now I have the Switch 2 in the headset, and it fits pretty well. It's a little snug with the screen protector that I have, but it works really well, and this feels pretty sturdy overall. I would definitely say it's an improvement from Labo VR, but I also wanted to check out a VR game in here, so I'm gonna boot up Captain Toad and look at that, since you could actually play the games that were compatible with the Labo VR headset with this headset, as well as the plastic Virtual Boy headset, which is really cool and is definitely another interesting use for this. So I booted up one of the games that was compatible with the Labo VR headset, Captain Toad Treasure Tracker. That's actually my favorite use of that headset, since the game works really well in VR with just a simple method of using VR. And it looks pretty good in the Virtual Boy Cardboard headset here. It's definitely hard to record, but as soon as it focuses here, actually there we go. You can definitely tell that it's higher resolution than the Switch 1, because Captain Toad was one of the games that got a free upgrade on the Switch 2, and that did apply to the VR mode. So it's definitely nice to see that there's a higher quality version of this game's VR mode, and this also applies to Mario Odyssey and Breath of the Wild. Unfortunately, Smash Ultimate didn't get a resolution upgrade on the Switch 2, but I'm sure it will still look fine. So I wanted to demonstrate me using it, while also giving my impressions on it. So you may think that glasses might be an issue for this, but they actually fit. At least with the glasses that I wear, it might depend on the person, but there's enough room between my glasses and the lens of the headset. You can use gyro to move around, at least in the Labo VR compatible games. That won't be a thing in the Virtual Boy games, but it is nice that you can use it for, like, the VR compatible Switch 1 games. But the picture quality is pretty good. I would say it's not perfect, but it's 1080p, significantly better than 720p. So I feel like the Switch 2 is like the ideal way to play some of these Switch 1 VR games. So it's definitely a pretty solid experience overall. I feel like the only issue is the fact that you have to hold up the headset rather than it be like having a strap or something. I mean, I guess that's one like positive aspect of the plastic headset. It actually has a stand, so you don't have to constantly hold it. But at the same time, realistically, you're only going to be playing these games for like several minutes at a time. It definitely is recommended that you take breaks, especially with the Virtual Boy games. So I don't think holding this up is too big of an issue, even though the Switch 2 is heavier than the Switch 1. So overall, it's a pretty good experience. I wouldn't say this is worth $25, but if you really want to play the Virtual Boy games in the intended way, as well as playing some of these VR-compatible Switch 1 games on your Switch 2, I would say this is a fairly solid, like, accessory to get. But anyways, let me know what you think down in the comments, and thank you guys for watching this video. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more, and make sure to check out my Discord server and Blue Sky if you want to. Stay perky!